Wild West, Bleedin Railroad. After hours of fighting for their lives, Leonidas and Qui Saac Jin were able to clear Buzzard Junction of the undead. They decided to put their differences aside for the time being, seeing how a force beyond their comprehension threatened to destroy everything they were living for. As survivors climbed out of the rubble, Qui Saac and Leonidas worked together to evacuate them eastward. As they tried to wrap their heads around what was haunting the home they loved, a deep, unnerving feeling crept in that this was beyond Buzzard Junction, beyond their understanding. Qui Saac Jin remained in Buzzard Junction with folks who were too stubborn to leave, while Leonidas took off looking for Widowmaker and his undead army. After a few weeks, the feds came to town. They had heard of the destruction, and the president himself sent the military in to regain control. They declared martial law and were in awe at the ghost stories the locals told of the undead and Widowmaker. East Coast businessmen arrived quickly to resume construction of the Transcontinental Railroad. The tunnels going through the Rockies needed to be completed quickly. Qui Saac Jin was ordered to keep the peace, and somehow military leadership blamed the destruction of Buzzard Junction on Leonidas. Someone had to take the blame. As the miners got back to digging, they came across the same omens that sealed the fates of thousands that came before them. Widowmaker's disease spread into them, one by one, and rather quickly, thousands of fresh miners turned into flesh-eating crazies. Widowmaker was growing his army and preparing for a greater war. The undead miners and people already infected began terrorizing every town on the frontier. While Widowmaker advanced through the mountains and the greater frontier, military leadership was completely unaware. After they had lost contact with the initial group of miners sent back into the mountains, they sent fresh blood in their place. But as the fresh miners worked their way up the mountain, they noticed the same disturbing signs as their brothers who had vanished not 2 days prior. Leonidas, in exile, was busy helping refugees on the frontier escape Widowmaker. He kept tabs on the military and their plans as he hid from them. After the second group of miners went missing, the military marched legions of soldiers up into the mountains to see what the hell was going on for themselves. Needless to say, they found what they were looking for. Widowmaker and his army ambushed the soldiers, and the U.S. military fought back bravely. Leonidas tried to save whoever he could, knowing he was aiding in a losing fight. Qui Saac also came to aid in the battle, and together they helped as many people flee the battle as they could. Alas, the true scope of the evil they were facing was too much to bear. As refugees headed eastward, Widowmaker and his army scorched frontier towns, killing everything in its wake. Qui Saac Jin and Leonidas helped many, but they also retreated eastward, not knowing what else to do at this point. Town by town, Widowmaker's army of undead grew by the thousands. What they thought was the curse of Buzzard Junction became a national threat. Finally, people believed Widowmaker was real, and the threat was recognized by the general public. As our heroes charged eastward, they wondered to themselves, can anyone stop what's coming? Leonidas and Qui Saac Jin will return in episode 6. Welcome to the Wild West. This is Raleighwood.